Hello, how are we? Welcome back to the channel Up the Reds TV with me, Andy. So, as I always say at this part of the video, please like, please share, please subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so, but you are watching these videos and these shows on the channel. Really appreciate that. Okay, so thank you for that. Right, okay, this is the post-match Liverpool versus Como 1907 times two. Times two, I hear you say. Well, if you didn't already know, there were two games played yesterday against Como, and the first one was played at the AXA ground at 11:30, and it was managed by both Cesc Fabregas and Andoni Iraola, which is really good to see that they were taking that game seriously as they were the second game, which I was at. So I watched it from AK Towers, before I set off for Liverpool yesterday. I was pleased to see the likes of, it was a 0-0 bore fest, if we're honest with ourselves. So, but I was glad to see McAllister get some minutes, Endo get some serious minutes. Simicast was captain, and Elliott played a majority of the game, and so did Chiesa. And I have to say, I was really impressed with Victor Munio. I thought he looked pretty sharp, if I'm honest with you. I thought he was a bit of a standout in that first half of the game. Naoni's Naoni. Trey, he just did his stuff. McAllister did his stuff, what he needed to do. If I'm honest with you, I'm disappointed in Elliott, disappointed in Chiesa. If they need to be in and around the first team, they have to be. They have to show Andoni Iraola, this was their chance to shine. And I didn't think they did that, if I'm honest with you. So they will be fringe first team players and possibly get the odd game in the cup, but I can't see them being in the dugout. As I mentioned, the two gaffers were there. I liked it because with there being no crowd there was a lot of barking going on from the sidelines from both benches. But I liked what Andoni Iraola was doing. He was barking out in his instructions to the experienced first teamers and also to the youngsters. So you don't rarely see that from a first team gaffer anywhere, doing a game of this low profile behind closed doors. Although the cameras were there. So as I said, yeah, it was a bit of a bore fest. There's nothing really to take from it apart from those positive minutes for Endo, McAllister, and Munio, and obviously Naoni. I've mentioned the negatives for you about the players, and the young lads did okay. The likes of McConnell, Morrison, Kumas, Chambers. They stood out a bit. Obviously, Naoni's in that group, but he's way ahead above them, footballing terms wise. Right, okay, to the main game, the 6 o'clock kickoff. When I saw the lineup, I thought the lineup's probably the best it could be for Iraola to pick from, and it was good to see that a one Jeremy Jacquet was in the starting lineup. Look, Como are a very, very good team. I said in me pre-match that the they could give us a tough game, and I think in general they did give us a tough game. He's a good young coach. When Slot was going, I don't know if there was a whisper about him being interviewed for the job. It's probably not the right time for him, but I do like the way that his team is set up and the way it plays. They've had a really good pre-season, and as I said to you guys in the pre-match, he'll play with 5 at the back, in out of possession, and then when they nick the ball off us, they will quickly move forward, and that's what they did do. And we played a 4-2-3-1, and it got exposed a few times throughout the game, where they got in, I wouldn't say behind us on all the occasions, but we had to defend pretty robustly, and we did that for 90 minutes, and that did impress me. So yeah, I was really impressed. I want to try and save the players, what I thought of the players that started the game till the end, because we know who we're going to talk about, don't we? In that first half, I tweeted at half time, we're 2-0 up. I just put half time 2-0, Jeremy Jacquet. That's the tweet. And because he was impressive. Like I say, he really, really was. I mean, we looked comfortable in the first half, Liverpool. They were, they did have the moments, but I thought overall we were okay, and we were probably deserved of the 2-goal lead. And but like I said, we set up 4-2-3-1. They set up 5-3-2, and when they broke after our poor decision making on a few occasions, they got hold of the ball in that back five. They always had a man spare in midfield, always in acres of space, and we need a defensive midfielder. You can't rely on Slobosly or Gravenberg playing that position. I think Nyoni does it better, if I'm honest with you. But he's only a young lad, and he'll grow into that position. But you can clearly see when a player of the opposition picks a ball up and he's 10 yards from any of our players, and he can literally do whatever he wants with that ball, is a bit alarming. So I hope we can nip that one in the bud as the season goes on, because obviously we don't want to be left in situations like that in the Premier League, because we will get punished, on the counters if we allow that much room in the middle of the park. So yeah, um, I was quite happy. What I'm seeing, it's a lot better than last time. Last season, should I say, last term, what we were, witnessing, and I can see some positives going into the season now. And look, might take a bit of time, but you can see how enthusiastic the head coach is. He wants the team to do well. Of course he does, but he wants all the players to do well. And it was good for him to see him encouraging on the sidelines. So let's just talk about the players, shall we? Great to see Ali back, and just to mention before that, what I did do, I got into the ground early for a change. 40 minutes early into the ground, and the players came out to warm up. And you know what? I saw an instant change in the way the warm up was being done. Now, last season when the players came out, they got hold of a football and started booting it in pairs amongst each other. There was none of that at the start. It was stretching. It was movement, a good 10 minutes of getting those muscles released, ready to go from the first whistle, and then the ball work was being done in pairs. What also liked was that the centre halves got separated and they did some centre half work as well. Again, it's old school. I don't mind that because I'm an old school coach, but with modern sort of like thoughts and tactics, and I liked it. I think it's very important that you get the warm up done properly. How many times have we played on a Saturday or a Sunday and we've just racked up and we've not warmed up and we've played absolutely lousy, or we've pulled something or got injured? But I was really impressed with that. And what other thing impressed me about the warm up was that the substitutes were warming up as if they were ready to come onto the pitch. They weren't involved in the main 11, but they were ready to come onto the pitch just in case anything happened right at the beginning or at the end of the warm up. They're in the changes, and yeah, they were having a separate warm up session again, sprints, stretches, before they had some ball work to do. Second half petered out really because of all the substitutions that say that we were making, but Como were making. He was doing it virtually every 10 minutes, and it just killed the game down a bit. But yeah, it was what it was, and you know, the end result was 2-0 to the Reds. So yeah, back onto the players then. Ali, best keeper. Honestly, he's the best keeper. So calm. Couple of occasions he scooped the ball up. Ball was played back to him. He was passing it to Virgil, Jacquet, and he was trying to look for them setting up the game in front of him. He was very vocal on the corners, very vocal from the edge of the box, which is good to see. So he's still got it in him to give a good, you know, a good game. He can read the game in front of him. He's barking out his orders, which was good. So the difference is, I did see a bit of barking going on in the morning game with Mamardashvili, but with Mamardashvili, I have to say his feet aren't as good as Ali's. His footwork isn't as good. His passing is poor. He would need to improve massively on his passing. But yeah. So Jeremy Frimpong played right back. Best game for Liverpool by a country mile. He had a very, very good game. Very good game. I think he's understanding how Iraola wants him to play, just like the opposite side of what Kirkes does. So I thought Jeremy Frimpong had a really, really good game. Up and down. He was quick. He was first to the ball. He got free kicks given for him, you know, because he was so quick. So I was really pleased. Kirkes, he understands how what the gaffer wants from him. I did feel sorry for him on more than one occasion. There was a lass that was there with a family for the two young girls, and she'd never been to Anfield before, and she turned around and said to me, "Why is he not getting the ball passed to him there when he's clearly in space?" And I said, "We're all noticing, you know, our eye test doesn't lie to us, and we know who the culprit was that wasn't passing the ball, and I'll get to him in a minute." So, star of 45 minutes. Did we really pay £60 million for him last January? Jeremy Jacquet. It looked like he'd played about 40 or 50 games for us. Not his first 45 minutes. That's how good he was. I mean, I just watched him for 5, 10 minutes while the game was going on, and his movement, his reading of the game, he's look. People saying he's an upgrade on Canate. Um, yes, he is because of his footballing skills. He didn't get bullied off the ball. He's quite strong, you know. Yeah, I was amazed with his upper body strength. Um, he didn't get bullied off the ball. His interception was good. His reading of the game was good. Yeah, and he became a crowd favourite within first 2 or 3 minutes of what he did on the touchline, and then he started to do his bit of skill of bringing the ball out. But you know what? I think out of 28 passes, he only lost one of them. That's not bad in the first half, and it didn't come to anything. So 20, 28 28 passes, 27 made, one not. He is a gem, really, and he looked like he'd played there with Virgil for a very long time. On to Virgil van Dijk, I thought he was solid. He's got a different demeanour to him to the one that finished the season last season, and he was really, really strong, barking the orders about. So, yeah, really pleased um, how the defence looked. Do we still need a right back? Yes, we do. Okay, so I'm not getting carried away from that Frimpong performance, but I thought he was very good. And maybe he's had a light bulb moment. Look, they're talking about getting a right back in because I'm not good enough and Connor's not ready. So, and he's not going to use Slobosly in that position. Or any other. Gomez is injured. So, yeah, he gave himself a good chance. And good on him because that's the attitude that we want. So the players in front, Gravenberch and Slobosly, on paper it looks fantastic, doesn't it? But you know what? They have their limitations, especially with a team like Como, the way they play football, the way they move the ball about, the way that a player can go into space in between them and pick a ball and can do whatever he wants without neither of them being anywhere near. So that was my only concern. I just think sometimes that both of the players could release the ball a bit quicker rather than travelling with it. You know, can we, do the bang, bang, bang? But I don't seem to see that from them. And don't get me wrong, they didn't have bad games. It was just that I'd like to see, rather than being ball carriers, I'd like to see them just progressing the ball and letting the technical ball carriers do the business. So yeah, so Ungamoa played on the right hand side. You know my feelings about that, and I'll say it again today. He's not a right hand sided player. He slows the game down when he's on that side of the pitch. It showed a few times. I think he only beat the player once or twice on the outside and put the ball across. And so yeah, he's not a right hand sided player yet, but he can work on it. But it's going to take a lot of work, especially in the Premier League. Cody Gakpo on the other side. Look, he got a goal and an assist, right? And I've heard the other YouTubers say they thought he had a good game. Now, if they're basing it on his goal and assist, yeah, it was a good goal. Frimpong, great pass to him. But do you know what? It's still a liability. I saw on a numerous occasions that Iraola was encouraging him to do the defensive side of the game, and he wasn't. And then he turned around to Iraola, and no word of a lie, he just shrugged his shoulders like that at him to say, "What do you want me to do?" You know, and Iraola went clap, clap, clap to him to encourage him to get back. when he lost the ball on his side, he needs to be in there. We need as many bodies as we can, and then we can restart the group. So people thought he had a good game just on those two things. I think he could have been a lot better. And that conversation that young lady was having next to me, why is he not passing the ball to him? It was every time Kirkes overlapped. Kirkes must have done a good 15 sprints up and down the line and to recover, and he must have been given the ball about 3 or 4 times, by Gakpo. When clearly Gakpo was wanting to bring the ball in. Why are you wanting to bring the ball in all the time when we've got Isak waiting in the box, Vert's running in? Give it to the wide player so he can whip a ball in. And the only time that he did that, or in the second half, Kirkes whipped a ball in, and Verts laid it off for Isak, who blazed over. But Isak knew that was a great pass to him, but he just got all his angles and his feet all tangled up. So yeah, and let's get on to Vert, shall we? I thought he had an indifferent game, shall we say, just like Ungamoa. There was on occasions where he was running at the back four, but he only had one in front of him, and that was Isak. I would have loved to have seen the wingers, both Ungamoa and Gakpo, making runs in behind the back four to give him something. The second goal came like that with Virgil, where he was on the edge of the box, feeding in Gakpo. And Gakpo feeds in, Jacquet, and Jacquet scores. And, yeah, Verts is okay, but he could have done a bit better. He could have done a lot better yesterday, And so, but look, he's beefed up. I've no qualms about him this season. There's no writing him off for me, because he's going to have that second season, whatever you want to call it. First season they come in, they're just bedding in, settling in, and then they'll kick on in the second season. Lots of players at Liverpool have done that. On to Isak, he hit the post in the first half, didn't he? He had a couple of half chances, but he was always asking for the ball. Always, you can see that Iraola does not want him to drop, 10, 15 yards into our half. He wants him literally to be the player on the centre half shoulder, so he can make that, preoccupy them too. But no, again, there was a bit of an issue where he went down, didn't he? And I thought, oh no, as he picked up a bit of a knock, but he seemed to have played through that. So subs that came on, Will Wright did okay. He just got some minutes to run. Munio came on for Ungamoa. Did very well. He's quick. I mean, when you watch him live, I mean, he's really tiny, but he is quick. Naini came on, did okay. Yeah, he played most of that game in the morning. Kumas came on, he did okay. He's a bit of a live wire. Picked up a yellow card because he thought he should have got a foul, and then he didn't, so he kicked out and he gets a yellow. My mate Ronny, who replaced Jeremy Jacquet at half time, Ronny Araujo, he was solid, wasn't he? Beast. He likes a good scrap, that centre half. Again, he's a bit more clinical in his tackling than Konate. Where Konate was all hands, wasn't he? He uses all of his body strength, and he can play football. He was always asking for the ball off Alisson or Virgil, and he was talking to the players in front of him. He was encouraging Frimpong, and I like that. So we have two centre halves that are going to be talking. We're going to be all right in that position. That's a position I'm going to be pleased with, because Virgil doesn't have to play all those games. You could play Ronny and Jacquet, and I'd be quite pleased, because they both look good footballers. So let's talk about the person that wasn't there. Jones didn't make the game this morning, didn't make the game in the evening. You can make what you want of that, but I think he'll be away in this transfer window. So there's no other news, or no news coming out about Barcola. I believe that him and Mbaye were both drops, not the right word. They were on the bench for the Super Cup. They weren't even on the bench for the Super Cup. They were in the stands. They weren't involved in anything. So Luis Enrique has mentioned that he'll only talk about players after the transfer window was shut. So make that what you want of that. Okay, that's enough from me. That was the final that was the final pre-season game. This is it now. The players will be getting ready for Sunday's game against Newcastle, which is going to be a very good opener to the campaign for the Reds. They'll be fit for that game. Mark my words, they will be fit. I can't wait. You can't wait. I know lots of people were pleased around Anfield before I got into the game. Conversations were good about all sorts. But one conversation that was deep was, we are all in agreement, right, that we haven't got enough bodies in, and we're only 2 or 3 injuries away from having a disastrous season. Some were putting it. I hope it's not going to be like that. Okay, please like this video. Please share it. Please subscribe to this channel. The more subscribers we get, the more it gets put out. Okay, we will never, I will never ask anything off you guys. No money, no pennies, no monetization. We won't be doing adverts. The only thing I will be promoting on here, as if you'd see, Scouse Republic top. I bought off Jay yesterday. He had his stall set up in Hotel Tier, and I messaged him to say, what time he was setting up. I had a good chat with him about football, and so thanks, Jay. It's boss, mate. Okay, right. That's enough from me. I have no idea what time this is going to get out on YouTube today, because the last 2 videos I've put out, it's taken them 3 hours to put them on. So I'm a bit miffed at that. I don't know why that should happen. Okay, enjoy your Monday. Enjoy the rest of the week. And you know me, if there's no transfer news, I won't be making anything. If there's transfer news, I'll have a chat with you guys, make you a video, any incomings, any outgoings, and I will do a pre-match for the Newcastle game on Friday. Okay, look after yourselves. Up the Reds.